Hi, I'm Cris Velasco, and I'm one of the composers on Lords of the Fallen. I love Soulsborne games, so when I was approached about Lords of the Fallen and saw some of the artwork, it just looked like this is going to be my new favorite game. It was very obvious from day one what kind of music this game needed. I introduced a lot of meter changes into the music, so you never felt like you were really feeling the groove of the music. It's constantly changing and adapting, just like you are while you're fighting, and it is meant to keep you off your guard a little bit. So the track Aphotic Judgment was written as the main theme for the game. They wanted something that sounded very liturgical to start with, choral driven, very powerful, almost a sort of requiem. In the middle of the piece, I went to something that's a little more action oriented that I thought was kind of important to introduce because this game is very action driven. It's got this nice theme, this interplay between orchestra and choir. Church music meets dark fantasy, meets combat. I tried to kind of roll the vibe of the game into this one track.
Hello, I'm Knut Haugen. I'm one of the two composers for Lords of the Fallen. I worked on the previous Lords of the Fallen in 2014 and I enjoyed that very much. So when I was asked to come back to the franchise now, I was thrilled. Maybe my favorite track of all, if I have to mention one, would be Mornstead Withers. Most of the music in the game is music for the fights. Mornstead Withers is one of the tracks that actually score the world. It tells us a different story and it gives the game a much wider emotional range. The cello functions as kind of a narrator. It speaks about the world, it communicates on a very human level. And I think this is important in a game like this, where there is so much darkness and so much fighting, that there are some traces of humanity that you can latch onto and connect with. The cellist, David Cohen, he's the first cellist of the London Symphony. I told my agent that I really needed a world-class cellist to play this, otherwise the whole song would collapse. So we were very fortunate to get one of the best cellists in Europe.
Maw of Faith was one of my favorite tracks to write. I think it was the second piece I wrote in this game. It was written for a creature called the Congregator of Flesh. And when I saw the artwork for this guy, I mean, it's just this shambling beast made of rotting bodies and teeth. The first time I saw it, I knew that this music had to really lean into more of the horror aspects of fantasy. But I just wanted this track to be just super aggressive and just a freight train bearing down on you. You know, a train made of teeth and bodies. When we were recording this track, I asked the string section, the low string section specifically, to really dig their bow into the strings because I wanted that very aggressive sound from the orchestra. I just remember the smile on my face while the orchestra was recording it, and we did two passes of the basses and the cellos to kind of create this dialogue between them that we thought would add more weight to the actual track. Man, I just remember those string players like almost jumping out of their seats, pushing into that low C string so hard, and it was super cool.
When we first started working on the game, we were given a lot of reference material. It was very clear that the producers wanted the game to be very dark, and at the same time they wanted it to be much more realistic than the first game. I really tried to make music that sounded like real music, something that maybe could have existed in the game world. In Light We Walk was always intended to be a strong theme. The developers wanted a theme that could represent the game and that felt recognizable, and they wanted something that felt cinematic and big and with a lot of impact. At the same time, I wanted it to feel like it belonged in the same musical universe. I tried to create something that felt a bit like a mini requiem, that it felt a bit timeless, a little bit classical, but in a contemporary way.